When I'm telling y'all, I really thought I was doing something. I really thought I was doing I was like, all right, guys, let's go. I need you guys in window so we can stretch. These kids just sat there. They sat in the back of the class because like there's this like windowsill, and like they just kind of like lined up on the windowsill and just sat there. And I'm like, all right, y'all, like, can y'all get up? Oh my God, why we gotta stretch? For what? For what? You're doing too much.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Like, yeah, for what?
Like, what are we stretching for?
Oh my God, like, damn, how long is this period?
Oh my God, can you just play music?
In order to dance, you need to warm up and you need to stretch. So we have to do that.
Oh my God, can you just play the music? Like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Literally about to crash out. And I'm just like, absolutely not. Now, at this point, he is there. So is Jesse/Janice. I started writing these names down so I can remember. So they're there and they're getting frustrated because the kids are basically mad. They don't want to stretch. And now Keisha and Janice are like, bro, like she's trying to get y'all to do a real dance class. Y'all keep saying y'all want to dance, but then when someone comes here to try to teach y'all how to dance, y'all don't want to do the shit. Like, get the fuck up and stretch. Like, how, yo, just going off. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not cursing at these kids. Like, that shit is inappropriate. You shouldn't have to. Like, it's one thing to yell at them, but like they're full blown cussing at these kids. And they're like, no, but like, stretch for what? Stretch for what? Stretch to dance, bitch. You have to warm up and stretch to dance. What do you mean stretch for what? Welcome to part 2. Now, first things first, you need to go watch part 1. I know y'all finna be entertained by all of this, okay? I give you guys all the underlying details in part 1, but here is where shit starts getting real crazy, all right? So please, like I said, leave a like, leave a comment, hype the video. If you guys want the shorter versions of these stories, go over to my Instagram or my TikTok because I'm doing a mini series of this long series on there. And of course, thank you so much in advance. Now, all right, I need to let you guys know because a lot of you guys are getting confused. If you actually watched the video, you would have peeped, but we are not talking about my current position at that school. My new position, I started at the very end of February, and I'm still at that school right now. I'm just waiting for that contract to run out so I never have to see those people again. I don't think I'm renewing my contract. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm more focused on my nonprofit. If you guys are in New Jersey and you guys want to come to any of my dance classes, the month of April right now, we are doing hip hop classes and they will be held in Belleville, New Jersey, which is only about 30 minutes outside of New York, maybe 5 to 10 minutes from Newark. So if you're in the area, I would love to see you there. There is a lovely QR code on your screen. I'd love to see you at one of the classes. Now, to be quite honest with you, I've given so much context with this video, and there's a lot of details to be known about everything I'm talking about that I highlighted in part 1 that I'm not going to be going over in any of the additional parts unless I need to. So if you didn't watch part 1, you really need to go watch it or you're not going to really understand the context. This is not your average school and these are not your average students. Okay, like, so I need you to get all that shit out of your head. Okay, for extra context, because there's a lot of things I did not go over because it was just so much. There is no security at this school. The only security that they have is one security guard at the desk that does not move. They are stationed there and there's no guards throughout. When there's fights and stuff like that, me as a coach and all the other coaches are supposed to run literally to get there in like 10 seconds. Like, I kid you not, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what the job entailed. I had nothing. Okay, I knew nothing about that until literally I started. Just like everything I'm telling you guys and most of these videos, I genuinely knew nothing about until I started. Okay, they legitimately lied to me. Okay, like it's actually insane. And this entire thing feels like a setup. Now, this is where I really started realizing I got set up, right? Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, well, this is why you research where you work. You need to make sure you look these places up. I have a bachelor's in mass communication and broadcast journalism. And then my master's is in public relations. Do you guys really think I didn't look anything up? Like, I need y'all to really use your heads. Obviously, it's 2026. A majority of us are looking the places up that we apply to. Now, when I looked at this school, most of the poor reviews were about being a teacher. And you guys are going to see in this video why I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy I didn't apply to be a teacher at this school because the teachers actually really have it insanely bad. at this school. But it's funny because I actually meshed very well with the teachers, way better than the coaches and other admin, which was very different. I feel like the school didn't really like that either. Like I hung out with the teachers, I didn't hang out with the coaches. And there's a reason for that. Okay. And we're going to get into that. I just personally, like, if y'all know me, okay, especially judging from my vlogs, watching my videos, like, there's a certain level of ghetto that I tolerate. And the staff was ghetto. The coaches was ghetto. I could not. There was only maybe 3 or 4 coaches that I really liked. Everybody else, I just couldn't mesh. I just couldn't. It was just too much for me. The way they talked to the kids was too much. The way that their morals were non-existent. Like, I just could not. And again, we're going to get into that. Additionally, I need you guys to understand the way they treated these kids also honestly does contribute to how a lot of these kids acted, because a lot of these adults had the mentality of, oh, well, you go low, I'm gonna go lower. You scream at me, I'm gonna scream at you. You curse at me, I'm gonna cuss at you. So yes, these adults, these staff, these admin were actively cussing kids out and stuff like that. And I've never been one to even go back and forth with a kid cursing or not. So this shit right here, beyond me. Now, the reason I believe I was set up is because we talked about my interview, my demo, my first and second day. Now we're going into Thanksgiving break and we have my first full week. And let me just tell you, my first full month was utter chaos. So imagine my surprise when I walk in on day 1 into the office. All I'm going to say is there's a reason that the title is They Set Me Up, because they genuinely did. And there's a reason the other one is called They Lied to Me, because they genuinely did. Imagine my surprise when I walk in on day 1, week 1, and I don't even have a desk. Now you guys are probably like, wait, didn't they show you your desk in the previous segment? Yeah, they did. They definitely did. But I forgot to mention completely that the office was disgusting. It was a mess. It stank bad. There was shit all over the place. I wish I took a video of how bad that office looked. It was bad. Sneakers up on the window from the kids. And you know these little boys stink. The other coaches, some of them had some hygiene problems. Shit is all over the place. Papers everywhere, clothes everywhere, uniforms everywhere. It was horrible. And they were like, oh, so sorry, coach. So sorry, coach. It's going to be cleaned up. It's going to be cleaned up. Of course it wasn't. Started my first day. What they said was my desk. The other athletic director was there. Apparently he was just promoting. We're going to call him. Well, he doesn't come up often, but let's just say he was another athletic director and he was at what's supposed to be my desk. And he was like, oh, don't worry. I'm moving. You know, I'm moving soon. That move never happened. The entire time I was there from November to February, I never had a desk. So you guys can imagine how stressful this experience was, right? A lot of you guys already saw what's on my Instagram and what's on my TikTok, right? I already started talking about like just the key stories on there. And then from what I told you guys in segment 1, and now going into this segment, this is a highly stressful environment and I can't even sit at my desk because I don't have one. So when I come in, Coach Keisha's like, oh, you could just use my desk. And when I expressed numerous times, like, hey, like, when am I going to get a desk? Oh, we're going to order one for you. We're going to rearrange everything because the extra desk won't fit in here. Never fucking happened. Okay. And mind you, you're supposed to have a desk because when the kids have their meltdowns and whatever, you're supposed to bring them to the office, put them at your desk. I didn't have one. So this whole thing was a mess. And you had the kids looking at me like, how the fuck you a coach and you got a desk? And every single one of them said that to me. Every time there was an issue. How the fuck you a coach you will have a desk? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. Obviously, like one of them was like, you're not even a real coach. You don't even have a desk. Like it was that bad. Okay. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. Every single day was something else to the point where I had to start writing notes because I was like, yeah, I have to remember this because this is like, you cannot make this stuff up. Like you genuinely cannot. And at this time I was semi-shadowing another coach. Her name is, we're going to name her Coach Kiana. I was with Coach Fernanda for those first 2 days. And then they put me with Coach Kiana so I can see how she ran her dance class. Now, this is the funny part. Coach Kiana is not a dance coach. You heard that right. Coach Kiana is not a dance coach. She's a volleyball coach, but they had her teaching dance with League One. Now, if you guys remember in the previous segment, I told you guys I could have had League One. I built a relationship with League One. I really liked League One. League One actually danced and they danced really well. I'm talking about cartwheels into splits. I'm talking about majorette, hip hop, you name it. They were actually really, really good at dancing. But for whatever reason, they put me with League Two. And me and Kiana were talking, and she's like, I genuinely don't understand why they put you with League Two because League Two don't even dance like that. League One, they really dance and they really need a coach. And I'm like, aren't you the coach? And she's like, no, I actually coach volleyball and they got me doing this bullshit. Like, I like it and I like them and I built a relationship with them. And, you know, my girls are League Three. So hopefully I get them next year and I don't have to start over. But yeah, like they should have just, you know, made you the coach. Like, I feel like they set you up. And I'm like, what do you mean League 2 don't even dance like that? She's like, swear to God, like those kids get on my nerves. Like she's literally just like going off about all of these crazy stories that she's had with League 2, how they're disrespectful, they don't listen, no one wants to deal with them. And I'm just sitting there looking like, oh my gosh. She was like, yeah, sis, they set you up. Like, I have no idea why they put you with that team. Like anyone that ends up with that team end up leaving, they end up quitting. Like, I don't understand why they did that to you. And at this point, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I was just like, wow, like, that's actually really crazy. And she's like, yeah. Like, did you have dance with them yet? And I said, no, I'm actually supposed to have them later on today. Because at the time, Coach Kiana had dance with them in the morning. So the way the sports segment worked, you would do an hour and a half of sports every day. Now, you guys are probably like, wow, this sounds actually great. Like, these kids should appreciate this. This is fun. Like, they get to hoop all day, get to dance all day. That's what you would think. When I'm telling you, it doesn't work like that at all. Like these kids, I don't understand it because it's like you would love, like I know how many kids are probably watching this. Like, what the fuck? Like these people get to hoop for an hour and a half all day. They get to play flag football an hour and a half all day. They get to dance for an hour and a half all day. Like, sign me up. That's what I thought. Okay. And they told me these kids like to dance. So I'm like, yo, this is great because an hour and a half is like the perfect time for any type of activity. It's the perfect amount of time. So I'm like, yo, this is great. And literally, when I told Coach Kiana, like, yeah, I have dance later, she looked at me like, good luck. And I'm like, oh, Lord, like, this is crazy. Like, when I'm telling y'all, I had everything planned. I had full blown lesson plan. I literally asked the kids what they wanted to learn. I catered to that. I learned different things. You guys are going to understand what I'm talking about in this video. They believed they were a majorette dance team. If any of you guys have seen majorette dancing, you would understand majorette is very difficult. It is not for the faint of heart, and you need to train. Not only do you have to train in regular dance principles, but you need to train in multiple dance styles. Okay. And basically, Coach Kiana was telling me, like, listen, when I'm telling you, I be trying with them because, you know, my background is mainly majorette. And she's like, what's your background? I said, honestly, I do a little bit of everything. I actually just got into majorette like last year, or at this time, I think it was like 2 years ago, because my kids, I had kids at a program that really liked majorette and they were on majorette teams and they wanted to do a majorette piece. So I had to learn what I could, baby. But I was like ballet, jazz, hip hop, Afro, Caribbean, major. I do a little bit of everything. And she was just like, yeah, like, you know, they're really into majorette, but it's like they lack the discipline and they're lazy. They don't want to do anything. And I'm like, what do you like? I'm trying to like get her to tell me, like, what do you mean they don't want to do anything? She was like, they don't want to do anything. Like, you're going to be screaming at them all the time. Now, you already know, I already told you, I don't do the screaming shit. I don't even argue with my nigga. I'm not arguing with you. I don't have time. You're not going to yell at me. You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to piss me off. You're not going to make my life hard. I'm not doing it. I'm too old for it. Shit, even as a kid, I wasn't doing it. I was slapping the shit out of you and that was it. Like, I'm not doing this back and forth. Like, it is what it is. So I'm just sitting there like, be that bad. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it was that bad. Okay, it was really that bad. So there's another detail I completely forgot to tell you guys, right? We also had to search the kids every morning. And I'm not talking about like regular search. I'm talking about like TSA airport like search. They came in, handed their phones in, they got locked up. They took off their bags, their jackets, whatever snacks or whatever they had. We would check the food, we check the jackets, we check the bags. They go through a metal detector, then they get body searched. A lot of people had a lot of issues with this. Personally, I really thought it was invasive as well. But after I signed that contract and during Thanksgiving break, I found out a child literally passed away in front of the school. Like, he got shot and he died in front of the school. Therefore, I feel like that's why they started doing these TSA like searches. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, I know you didn't just glaze over that like that. I have to, because there's just so much. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Okay. And it's crazy because you would think like that would make you get legitimate security in the school, not making coaches search. Because yes, it was us as coaches conducting these searches. It was us as coaches breaking up fights. And you got a child that got shot outside the school. Your logic is, oh yeah, let's make the employees search the kids. We're not trained for that. Now, from what I understand, there is actually supposed to be a training that we're supposed to have about breaking up fights and, you know, searching bags and shit. But I never had that training. A lot of the other coaches never had that training either. So it's just like, a lot of times things would actually get in. Now, this is very important for the rest of the series and a lot of other situations. So I need you guys to put a pin in that, right? So this is when I realized they really lied to me about what I'd be doing from 8:30 to 9:30. Okay, because when I put my shit down at Keisha's desk, all of a sudden, okay, yeah, we gotta go to meeting. I said, what? Yeah, girl, we have a meeting every morning. Yeah, what kid didn't say? Nobody mentioned that shit to me. I said meeting every morning. yeah, every morning, we have trainings, meetings. I said, so like huddles? They said, no, like meetings. I said, for like the hour? Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour. And then, we got to go down to arrival. When the fuck am I supposed to have time to prep? That's what I'm trying to understand. So 8:30 to 9:30, I'm in a meeting. 9:30 to about like 10:30, I'm in arrival. And the thing is, the arrival is supposed to switch, but since we were so understaffed, it was almost always lead two. Because since I finally joined the team, we were finally fully staffed and had enough people to do arrival basically every fucking day. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, and then there was times we weren't even supposed to be on arrival and they still called us down anyway because there was no one there. So I'm supposed to be picking up my kids from class at like what was it, like 10:50? I don't remember. I don't remember the time, but it was like I'd have to run from arrival to come get the kids to drop them off. Now their second class is circle. So I had to stay in there for circle, okay, or whatever period that was, because if there was another teacher in there, I had to be the secondary teacher. Okay. And then I had to bring them to their third period, which is no movement. Now the thing is with no movement is there's no movement. You cannot go to the bathroom, you can't do shit. So I had to be there to escort the kids that had emergencies to bring them to and from the bathroom. They're having meltdowns because they can't go to the bathroom. They're having colds because they can't go to the bathroom. So I'd have to be there. Okay, whatever. Right after that, what's that? Dance. Can't leave. It's just me. There's no one in the athletic wing. There's no Keisha and the social worker were only with me for maybe 2 or 3 days because at that point they started getting frustrated. They started getting tired of these kids and they were just like, shit, at least you don't got to deal with them no more. They got a coach. And I feel like that's how everybody kind of felt, right? So boom, let's get to dance class. So I get to dance, right? Again, I had everything ready. I had my lesson plans. I really thought I was doing something. When I'm telling you, I really thought I was doing something. I really thought I was doing something. I was like, all right, guys, let's go. I need you guys in windows so we can stretch. These kids just sat there. They sat in the back of the class because like there's this like windowsill and like they just kind of like lined up on the windowsill and just sat there. And I'm like, all right, y'all, like, can y'all get up? Oh my God, why we gotta stretch? For what? For what? You're doing too much.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Like, yeah, for what?
Like, what are we stretching for?
Oh my God, like, damn, how long is this period?
Oh my God, can you just play music?
In order to dance, you need to warm up and you need to stretch. So we have to do that.
Oh my God, can you just play the music? Like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Literally about to crash out. And I'm just like, absolutely not. Now, at this point, he is there. So is Jesse/Janice. I started writing these names down so I can remember. So they're there and they're getting frustrated because the kids are basically mad. They don't want to stretch. And now Keisha and Janice are like, bro, like she's trying to get y'all to do a real dance class. Y'all keep saying y'all want to dance, but then when someone comes here to try to teach y'all how to dance, y'all don't want to do the shit. Like, get the fuck up and stretch. Like, how hard? Yo, just going off. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not cursing at these kids. Like, that shit is inappropriate. You shouldn't have to. Like, it's one thing to yell at them, but like they're full blown cussing at these kids. And they're like, no, but like, stretch for what? Stretch for what? Stretch to dance, bitch. You have to warm up and stretch to dance. What do you mean, stretch for what? And at this point, I'm just like, this is like, like I was in the twilight zone because, like I told you guys, they specifically told me these kids really want to dance. They're really into dance. They just need a coach. They just need somebody to come and clean up their choreography, baby. These are not kids that wanted to dance. These are kids that really wanted to do TikToks. Okay, they really wanted to do TikToks because then Keisha had to like really like compromise and be like, you know what? Like get up so then like, maybe y'all could do TikToks later. Bitch, where? Bitch, absolutely not. Like now y'all killing time. By the time they actually got up, there was maybe only 30 minutes left of class. I already told you guys. It was about an hour 20, an hour 30 of dance. By this point, they wasted so much time fighting and going back and forth and doing the most storming out of the class that by the time they actually got up, it was only 30 minutes. Now, this class in particular was supposed to be like basics of majorette. So I wanted to go through the walks. I wanted to go through bucking. I wanted to go through the principles of stuff. I wanted to go through the different positions because the thing is, a lot of people don't understand. From what I've seen from a lot of these kids, they get introduced to majorette via TikTok and they think they could just do the steps and that's it. No, majorette is literally a combination of multiple dance styles, okay? From ballet to hip hop to jazz. Like a lot of those walks are jazz walks. The positions are ballet positions. If you really dance majorette, you know that, right? If you are a real dancer, you know that. These kids literally just were left to their own devices because they didn't have a coach. Their last coach was completely inappropriate to the point where she apparently had them dancing, twerking. When I'm telling you, how do I explain it? The way it was explained to me was their performances were so wildly inappropriate that the men in the building, okay, the men on the staff had to walk out of their performance. I kid you not. Coach Kiana was the one that told me this, right? And I was just like, it can't be that bad. And she was like, it is that bad. Coach Keisha told me that, like, everybody kept telling me that. And it was a reoccurring thing where everybody would be like, oh, your predecessor did this, your predecessor did that. The predecessor was Coach Galaxy. They'd be like, yeah, she was this, she was this, she was this. There's so many stories about Coach Galaxy. Like, it seemed like Coach Galaxy was crazy. Like, that, hence why she was fired. But the point I'm trying to get at was this is what they were used to. They were used to ghetto. They were used to dysfunction. They're used to being left to their own devices and thinking it's okay because their last coach was a ghetto mess. The last coach was hiding their drugs. The last coach was out here letting them twerk on stage and during performances like they're children. I don't like high school or not. Twerking, absolutely not. Dancing to music about sex and drugs. Like, and the fact that the school let it slide and didn't check it is even crazier to me because it's like, how did that shit even get on stage? It gets to a point where there's like, it's the last 30 minutes of class. I'm kind of able to do something, but I was really trying to do across the floor with them. And it was like, okay, you know what? We'll do what you want to do then. Fuck it. Mind you, again, last 30 minutes of class, I start trying to teach them how to do the walks. And they're like, I don't get it. Like, the fuck? Like, why we got to do this for? You're a majorette team. You have to do the walks. Like, I'm like, you know what? We'll go through this tomorrow, whatever. I felt so defeated. Never in my life have I taught a class that I couldn't teach. Never in my life have I taught kids, students, clients, or anything like that I couldn't get through for an hour and a half. Like, I've never had that happen. So I felt so defeated. I felt horrible. I felt annoyed that even Janice Jessie, okay, I'm going to use it interchangeably. It was originally Janice. So I feel bad that the social worker and Coach Keisha had to come in and basically like cuss them out like for 20 minutes for them to cooperate. Like, it was so bad. Like, literally, it got to a point where I literally sat down in silence. Because if you don't let me do what I need to do, you're not going to do what you want to do. They wanted to literally just put on music and practice their little TikToks and, oh, well, we should do this for this and we should do that to that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and wait for y'all. Okay. And that's when they finally be like, okay, like, we going to do what you want to do. Okay. It was literally a shit show, right? So at this point, I feel defeated. I'm annoyed. So after that, it was lunch. The day was over, whatever. So I was like, you know what? It's okay. I pick myself up and I say, you know what? Let's just plan for the next day, right? So obviously I didn't really even get through the lesson plan. So we're just going to keep doing the same thing until we get through it. That's usually what happens. If you don't get through the lesson plan, you're just going to have to keep trying to implement the lesson plan until you're done or until you finally get to execute it and the kids actually grasp the concept. So again, we're still on walks. The next day comes, right? Now let's put a pin on dance because we have to get into English, right? So English apparently was the kids' favorite class, right? And one thing also to note for context is every teacher had a co-teacher. And this is the shit I never understood about this building. But at the same time, these kids are really that bad. The teachers have an advantage because it wasn't just them. They all had co-teachers. So they had someone with them to help with classroom management. They had someone with them with grading and lesson planning, where us as coaches, we didn't. And there's always been a very big disconnect between the coaches and the teachers because coaches always felt like, well, there's two of y'all in there. Why the fuck y'all have to call the coach for everything? And you guys are probably like, well, why would they call you? Because like I said in the first segment, I was more of a life coach than a dance coach. So every single time something would happen, every single time there was a situation, they would call the coach. Okay. There is no security. If there's a fight, they're calling the coach. Okay. So a lot of the coaches felt like, what type of fucking teachers is y'all that y'all can't even handle y'all classroom with two of y'all in there? Where a lot of the teachers felt like, well, you're a coach, you're not doing shit anyway. And I understand how it might look like that because the way the position was explained to me was that I would literally just be escorting the kids to and from class, making sure they're in school, making phone calls. So from the outside looking in and on paper, it looks like, okay, for 40 minutes in between every class, like all the coaches are free, they chilling. No, no. You're meeting parents, you're calling students. You might have to, like go organize whatever in the athletics closet and the shit is a hot ass mess. Like it was fucking nuts. Like I never got to sit down. I can't even tell you like how many times I took a break, because a lot of the times my break wasn't break. It got to the point where I had to either leave the building and go walk outside in 8-degree weather, because that was the only way I would get a break. If I drove that day, I'd be so happy because I could just sit in my car. You had to hide, because if you were on break and something happened and you didn't answer, they would look at you like, oh, where was the coach? Oh, why weren't you there? Bitch, I'm on break. Well, you were still in the building. That's how they would look at you. And it's like, that shit don't make sense. So it got to the point where I just started hiding, and I wouldn't take my walkie. I would turn it off because I don't have time. The complete lack of work-life balance in that place was insanity. Like, you were constantly taking work home. You constantly were worrying about these kids and their well-being. It was just a lot. It really was. And it's interesting because this shit right here made me realize, like, yeah, everybody is just a tad bit ghetto in this bitch, right? So let's get into this class. So English was supposed to be these kids' favorite class. I really liked that teacher. I really liked the co-teacher. And fun fact, the co-teacher was actually Haitian. Now, this is where I meet another one of the students. Like I said, since I started like the week of Thanksgiving break, a lot of the kids wasn't there. There was also a trip. A lot of them didn't come. Like, you know how it is when break comes with kids, right? Now, we're going to name this student. What are we going to name her? All right, we're going to name this student Casey. Now, Casey, also very truant. Very, like, she probably comes to school maybe twice a month, 3 times a month. Just like the student I talked about on my Instagram that was truant and tried to curse me out because her grades was horrible. And she tried to say that it was my fault because I'm her coach and I work for her. Yeah, whole thing. Again, go on Instagram, right? Very truant, almost never comes to school. She came to school this day. I met her for the first time. I'm trying to, like talk to her and stuff like that. And basically, she walked into the class a little late, but she was kind of like I don't know, she was a little off that day. She came in with attitude, low key. I ain't gonna hold you, but it is what it is. That's how a lot of these kids were. She came in the class and she was one of the last people to come in the class. Everybody came in front of me, and then she came. Now, it was me, Coach Keisha, and then Janice. Okay, it was 3 of us with the kids. We escort all the kids in. Casey goes in last. Now, something happened where Coach Keisha and Coach Janice had to leave with the English teacher. I don't think we're really going to mention her. So we're just going to call her English teacher 1. English teacher 1 is the main teacher. Coach Keisha and the social worker Janice or Jessie, whichever, all left. And they were like, oh, could you stay with the kids real quick? I said, all right, sure. English teacher 2 was in there with me. So it was whatever. We have to stay there for the first 5 minutes, get the kids settled in. And then the last 5 minutes before class ends, we have to come and pick them up and bring them to the next class. So I sat there and did the 5 minutes for Coach Keisha. Casey gets up, heads towards the door to grab a pencil. I personally looked at her and thought, okay, yeah, she's going to grab a pencil. English teacher 2, just a little preface, right? They didn't like her. They hated her. There was already a lot of altercations and a lot of issues with English teacher 2. And I could see why. I liked her as a person. I think she was a good teacher, but the students hated her. Honestly, this situation highlights why, right? She goes, she grabs the pencil. Simultaneously, English teacher 2 is like, oh, where you think you're going? Like, just going off on Casey. Casey's like, I was just getting a pencil. And this is where I need you guys to understand. Every single altercation that happens at that school is based off of misunderstanding for the most part. It's never that serious, but it ends up being that serious, and everything goes 0 to 100. And everything goes 0 to 100 super duper quick. Okay. She goes, she grabs a pencil. English teacher 2 starts yelling at her. Mind you, I'm looking at this because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this shit, it happened like that. And all of a sudden, now they're going back and forth. She's like, chill out. She's like, relax. I'm getting a pencil. Obviously, English teacher 2, I already told you she's Haitian. Any adult is going to feel some type of way about a child telling them to relax. So, of course, at this point, English teacher 2 is like, who are you to tell me to relax? Little girl, don't you tell me to relax. Don't you ever talk to me like that. I don't know who you are. My kids don't even talk to me like that. So she's going on. Casey's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was just getting a pencil. I was just like, shut the fuck. I'm just in there like, okay, now at this point, I'm like, yo, Casey, let's go. Like, no, let's go. We gotta go. Nah, I'm trying to remove her from the situation because I see this shit is escalating, okay? And at the same time, right, mind you, this happened in, like, this could have been like I'll say maybe 3 to 5 minutes because, like, there was so much being said, so much happening. And everybody's just looking like, everybody was kind of in shock because, again, all she did was get up to get a pencil. She got up to get the pencil and this shit erupted like that. And Honestly, like, I will say they were both antagonizing each other. This is where I'm saying, like, I was not raised to go back and forth with kids. I'm not going back and forth with kids. English teacher too was the one that kind of antagonized it. But I completely understand it because, like I said, these kids will take you there, and there's been numerous altercations. But at the same time, I believe as an adult, it's your responsibility to keep a level head. Right. So from what I remember, she's yelling, she's going off. I'm trying to take Casey out. Okay. And all I hear English teacher two saying is, listen, like we may be nice or whatever, but your grade's not. And I'm telling you, the teacher took it to hell. The teacher took it to hell. The teacher said, you know what? You're not about to be disrespecting me. I'm going to come at you. I was in shock. I said, I know this teacher did not just say that. I was like, oh, now that's childish. Like, but at the same time, like, Casey was like, oh, you dumb, ugly bitch. You fucking, that's why nobody fucking like your dumb ass. You fucking, like, just going off. By this point, when she said that, that is when Coach Keisha came back. That's when the social worker came back. That's when English teacher one came back. And they're like, what's going on? What happened? And I started explaining to them what happened. And I was like, honestly, to be honest, like, English teacher two was in the wrong because as an adult, like, you can't, like, you gotta nip the shit in the butt. Like, at what point do you say, all right, I'm not going back and forth with a kid? Like, I'm not gonna win this fight. Like, but at the same time, obviously the child was being disrespectful, but it started because she went to grab a pencil. Like, it really wasn't that deep. It was all like a misunderstanding. So at that point, I find out that when kids have altercations with teachers, they get benched. Right. So they're not allowed to go to class until they have a circle. Now, you guys are like, what the hell is this circle shit? Well, circle is a class, and circle apparently is the way they mediate altercations. So it's usually whoever it is you had an altercation with. Sometimes it could be student, it could be staff or whatever, a teacher, and then it's the social worker and whoever else needs to be there to facilitate the circle. And yeah, it's supposed to be a time in which you hash things out and bury the hatchet, and you cannot go back to class or whatever the case may be until you have the circle. Now, one thing I'll say about the social worker that I did not like was that a lot of times these circles would be outstanding for days, weeks at a time. So you can imagine how frustrating that is to these kids because although a lot of them are truant and really don't give a fuck about school, there are a lot of them that actually care about their grades and actually really want to get out. And if you're not allowed to go back to class because you got into altercation with the teacher and it really wasn't wholly your fault, you're gonna be frustrated about this. And this was a running theme, okay? Almost every single time there was an altercation, almost every single time someone got benched, they would have to wait days. There was times I saw like there were circles outstanding for weeks that weren't addressed because the social worker out here gallivanting in the halls, laughing, chilling, playing, like doing all types of shit. And it's like, bro, like I would come up to her like, hey, when is this person having a circle? You know, I really want to know when is this person going to circle with their friend because, you know, they had an argument and they really want to hash it out. Like, it was insane because it's like, what are you here to do? And I will say, right, especially judging from how like all of us kind of ask each other, what the fuck do these people do? Maybe she had way more to her job that I didn't see because also the social workers did have to respond to all the codes as well. So codes were literally answered by social workers and the coaches. So maybe she had a lot on her plate with that too. And she did have to do all of the circles for all of the league, and League Two was the worst league because we had two of the worst teams in the entire school. So I get it, but it's like these kids are not able to go back to class because they're benched. I would do those first because we're trying to get them to graduate. Okay. That's the whole premise of this school. And that's why they let so many things slide. They want to get the kids that would not otherwise graduate if they were somewhere else. They want to get them to graduate. Now, to be honest with you, I feel like there's a better way to do this than enabling trash ass behavior, which again, you're going to see throughout the series, but hey, it is what it is. So that situation happens. The child is escorted out. I start trying to, build a relationship with her, whatever. I start talking to her. And then, she says that she wants to be an engineer. She just be trying to, come do what she got to do to get out. And I'm like, well, this is my first time meeting you. And it's like, what, my third or fourth day? Like, how often do you come to school? Because I had already checked her records. I already saw that she really never comes to school. And she was like, I'm trying to work on that. It's coming into the next trimester because they had 3 trimesters and we were like right at the end of trimester 1. She's like, next trimester, I'm really going to try to come in and do what I got to do or whatever. I bet. Especially since you say you want to be an engineer, I'm going to hold you to it. So every time she'll do something, I'm like, remember, you're trying to be an engineer because when I'm telling you, Casey was a crash out. Casey was one of those, like, she really would like just go off like that, flip of a hat. So I was like, I fended for her. I said, to be honest with you, she was just getting a pencil. And it escalated so bad, but it's like these teachers have seen so much and went through so much with these kids that they kind of have like a trauma response to almost everything that these kids do. So it's like, I don't want to say it was anyone's fault, but I will say that as an adult, she should have handled that better, right? So whatever, that whole situation happens. I go in the office to sit at Keisha's desk because again, I don't have a desk. And I'm just like, yeah, this a lot. Like, what the fuck? And this is when I meet Coach, we're gonna call her Danielle. Still to this day, I actually talk to Danielle. She's one of my favorite people. She's cool as fuck. Shout out to you. I know you're watching this. And she's like, oh, hi, I'm Coach Danielle. Like, I'm the coach for, League 2 volleyball. And I'm like, oh, hey, girl. Like, cool as hell, nice as hell. Like, when I'm telling you nice, too nice for her own good. We're going to get through that. We're going to get to that in the rest of these parts or whatever. Like, and she starts talking to me about Coach Galaxy. Like, it was really cool, but da-da-da. And this is a running thing. Everybody keeps telling me about Coach Galaxy every 2 seconds. Oh, well, she was this, she was that, she was drama, she was messy, she was da-da-da, she was hiding the drug. Every 2 seconds. I really don't give a fuck. I don't know why they keep talking to me about who was here before. I hate when jobs do that. I don't give a fuck. They're no longer. I'm here now. I don't care. But it was interesting and very insightful. And I did need to kind of know that information to understand why these kids acted the way they did and why they thought that they were entitled to such behaviors like adults hiding their drugs and stuff like that. If you guys are on my Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like these kids had such a warped sense of reality because of that coach and because of how much behavior was enabled that it's like, yeah, real world consequences and real adults was something that they really just genuinely weren't like privy to. Like they would expect you to go back and forth with them. They expected you to curse them out. They expected you to like give, I don't want to even say tough love. That's not tough love. That's like legit abuse. Like if you're used to people screaming at you to get you to do something, like that means you've been abused and you've been normalized. Okay. One thing about me, again, my man don't yell at me. My parents never hit me. Like I do not deal with disrespect, period. You're not going to scream at me. I'm not taking it. I'm walking away. I'm slapping the shit out of you. Either way, I'm not taking any type of disrespect from anyone, anytime. So these kids and I just really couldn't mesh because it was like, it's like they expected me to do all of this hoopling and hollering. No, do the shit or fail. Like, do it or fail. Like, what are we actually talking about? You guys are too old for this. Like, you're 17 and you're a sophomore or a junior. What the fuck are we actually talking about? You want to get out or not? Do the shit or get out. Like, this is crazy. Now we go into arrival and dismissal post, right? Now, for the first few days, I really didn't know nothing about that because no one told me about that. No one told me I'd be doing the searches and no one told me I'd be doing dismissal posts. Now, you guys are probably like, what the hell is a dismissal post? Dismissal post is basically where you go out about 10 to 15 minutes prior to dismissal, and we stand on each corner, basically leading up to the train station to make sure the kids leave the neighborhood. Now, you guys are probably like, why would you have to do that? Like, again, we're security. Bitch, I told you I get security. There's no security. But also, we had to do this because obviously that's shooting that happened with that child, but also because the kids linger around, they hide their drugs, they create havoc in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood has actually been petitioning to get the school out for a while now. That's also something I found in my research. But again, the crazy part about all of this is I had to dig really deep, like to find a lot of this information. A lot of it was not really like front page. It was like shit that I had to dig for. And it's like, yeah, a lot of the neighborhood doesn't want the school there. They've threatened the charter. They threatened to pull the building. Now, the school actually doesn't own the building. They actually rent it from a Jewish family or company or something like that. And they've been trying to end that lease mad times. Like, when I'm telling y'all, like, it's so crazy. And it's like, bro, the dismissal post is what really pissed me off because they expected us to go out early, right? Stand there for dismissal. And additionally, we had to come back to the building to clock out. So we clocked in the morning, went to dismissal post, come back, clock out, and then go home. You got me fucked up, especially because my post was literally so close to the train. I'm not walking back. I emailed HR day one. That first week, I said, I'm not doing that. It makes no sense for me to come back, clock out, and do this. Like, no. So they were like, oh, okay, it's no problem. Me and you clock you out. Everybody else actually sat there and did that dumb shit. They actually sat there, went to their post, hop back, because like sometimes they had a van out. So everybody will hop back in the van with their walkies and put the walkies back and then clock out. You got me fucked up. I'm not doing it. Because at that point, I'm working outside of contracted hours, okay? My contracted hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:10. I'm leaving this bitch at 4:10. I'm not going back to that building, okay? So I never did that shit. I did the post, but I never went back. I would just go straight home because it was ridiculous. Like, what do you mean go back to the building? Like, man, child, ridiculous. So the dismissal post was brutal because y'all already know it was very cold this winter. We had like record-breaking winter this year. So it was very uncomfortable to have to do these posts, especially every single day. And sometimes it would kind of go a little over because they wouldn't clear the streets in time or the kids would linger around. So we had to like spend time pushing them forward or whatever. And it was just so irritating. And it didn't help that literally I was cold all day. Next day, I come into the school, right? And I forgot to mention this in the beginning of this video, but these kids wouldn't even say hi to me for a very long time. I think I finally started getting good mornings from them in January. They wouldn't say hi to me. They would pay me dust. Anytime I would say something to them, they would ignore me. If I would try to contact them and be like, hey, why are you not in school? Even the parents, like niggas was just ignoring me, which I get it. They haven't had a coach in 5 months, but like you have no home training if you can't even say good morning to someone, especially if I said good morning first and you're not responding. Okay. I realized, while I'm doing this TSA search in the morning, okay, that I'm fucking freezing. Now you guys were like, well, Ivana, you're doing arrival. You're right by the door. I go to the office, I'm cold. I go to a classroom, I'm cold. And eventually I say out loud, like, yo, why is it so cold? Man, oh, you all know there ain't no heat yet? I'm like, I know you joking. Yeah. Last year, mind you, this is one of the students. Last year, we actually didn't come to school for like a week because there was no heat. I said last year. They was like, yeah, and I believe the year prior too. So y'all just consistently don't have heat in the winter? Yeah, it's always cold in the winter in this building. At this point, I go to the English class because at the time I had built rapport with them, after that situation that happened. And I wanted to, I guess, apologize for the child's behavior and talk to them and see how it was going for them. The thing is, which I noticed later, is like anytime altercations would happen in the teachers' classrooms, they would get in trouble by their higher up or whatever the case may be. So I wanted to really go in there, check in with them. And I'm like, yo, why is everywhere so cold? And I was like, well, it's actually kind of warm in here. And English teacher one was like, oh, yeah, that's because we got the heater, girl. Like, we made sure we had a heater in here. And I looked, I said, why do y'all have a space heater? Oh, well, yeah, most of the building doesn't have heat. Like, only some classes heat work. That's why the hallways are so cold. And, the CAF is kind of warm too. The heat works there, but the gym is freezing. The dance room, I'm not really sure. I'm sure there should be heat in there. And she just starts listing all of these places that have heat and don't have heat. And I'm just looking at her like, so how the hell are you guys open with no heat? Like, it's fucking like below zero outside. Like, I'm not really understanding. And she's like, yeah, no, like this is what happens, girl. Like, I've been here for 3 years. Every year it's a problem with the heat. And I'm just like, and no one's reporting this. And this is what I need you guys to understand, right? And this is why, like, especially on my Instagram and TikTok, you got niggas commenting, oh, well, maybe you're not cut out to be a teacher. Da 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 da. If you knew all this, why'd you work there? Bitch, again, they set me up and they lied. But also, why are we not holding admin, staff, and these charters accountable for having these kids in horrible conditions, the kids and the staff? Why is it that everyone wants a struggle badge of honor? Everyone wants to be able to be like, well, I stuck it out and oh, I'm an educator. And I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna quit every time. You're not about to have me working in piss poor condition. Like, I'm not doing it, or I'm gonna call out accordingly. Okay. And that's what happened. I called out 2 times because I had a doctor's appointment. No, actually, I called on my birthday. The day that we came back from Christmas break was my birthday. I was never going to stay there on my birthday. And then I called out another day for a doctor's appointment, right? And they tried to say, oh, well, you've called out a lot of times for a new hire. And mind you, at this point, I was there for like 3 months. I called out 2 times. But there might have been a third time. So I'll give myself 3. There might have been a third time, but I genuinely wasn't feeling well because of my asthma, because the building was so fucking cold. If you're asthmatic, like, it's crazy because I'm a dancer. I never get triggered with my asthma when I'm dancing as much, depending. But when it's really, really cold and I'm in cold weather for too long, my asthma gets triggered. So I told them, like, listen, I have asthma and y'all have no heat. Oh, wow. Okay. If you need to, you could put your hoodies on and bitch, I shouldn't have to do that. The building should have heat. You got me fucked up. And what's crazy is the principal had the nerve to have like the warmest fucking room there talking about some, like, if I need to, I could put my hoodie on. No, bitch, no. Like, it was just insane to me because it was like, yo, it was so fucking cold. It truly was. And the thing is, I actually really liked the principal, even though nobody did. We're going to get into the principal possibly in the next part. But who I really genuinely didn't like was my supervisor. I didn't like her vibe. I didn't like how fake she was. I can literally see that she would talk shit about niggas and then smile in their face. I'm gonna call her Janet. Fake as fuck, two-faced as fuck. We're gonna get into the next part. In part 3, I'm gonna tell you guys why I really don't fuck with her and what really like pissed me off with her. But she was very nice in the beginning. Nice, nasty, fake vibe. Somebody that's just overly nice because they know they have to be nice to you. one of those, like, oh my God, how is it, Coach R? What's going on, Coach R? Let me know if you need anything, Coach R. But then it's like I would say something to her, or I would bring up an issue, or I would bring up something that I needed. And she'd be like, okay, I'll look into that for you, and then never do it. Or she'd be like, oh, well, that's how the kids are. Like everything was very aloof. She was very aloof. Okay. Everything was, oh, I'll look into this for you. Oh, I'll see what I can do. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But like never really did much of anything but fucking flap her gums. So I really didn't trust the damn thing she said. Like I like from day one, I didn't really trust her, but I didn't hate her. But it was funny because a lot of people, like especially the other coaches, would talk about like, yo, like she blowing my shit, she this, she that. But when I'm telling you, they really hated the principal. They hated the principal to the point where like this school and most charters go based off of surveys and shit. They purposely rated her low because they did not like her. And the funny thing is with that hoodie thing, when they told me, oh, well, I can wear my hoodie in the building, one of the reasons a lot of the coaches didn't like her is because she instilled a policy where no one could wear hoodies in the building. Like you couldn't wear the hood on your head. Y'all already know this new generation of kids love their goddamn hoodies. Also, the staff, this is when I realized how unprofessional the staff was because they were that mad about not wearing hoodies. Okay. But to their defense, it was cold as fuck in the building. So what the fuck do you mean don't wear hoodies? Okay. Now, this is the thing. I realized that these people did not like the principal when I'm jumping ahead a little bit. We were going out, right, for Christmas break, again, jumping forward, and on the walkie, because everything was via walkie here, the principal came on and she was like, okay, guys, good afternoon. It is now time to leave. Da, 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 da. Why did one of the deans, he also used to be a coach, funny enough, now he's a dean, literally yell, shut the fuck up in the office while the principal was talking on the walkie. And I was just like, anytime this lady would speak, she would come to a meeting, which honestly wasn't a lot. I didn't see her a lot. And I even told her that in my evaluation of her when I had my one-on-one with her towards the end, like, yeah, it would be nice to see you more. But in general, like, nobody liked her. And every time I asked them, they would just bring like minuscule reasons as to why they didn't like her. And I'm telling you right now, as much as I didn't like the fact that she tried to tell me to wear a hoodie, I like that lady. She was the only professional there. You could tell she came from a real school and she was trying to implement real change. And it really is ridiculous how they didn't like her for like little stupid shit. We can't wear hoodies in the building. That's crazy. These adults were really mad. Like, yeah, like she came in here thinking that she was trying to, save the sunken shit. She came in here trying to change things that we've been doing forever. Like the answers were just childish. Like you would think the staff was kids themselves, the way they were talking about why they didn't like her for a bunch of stupid ass reasons that really weren't real reasons to not like her at all. It's given that y'all don't like her because she's a black woman about her business and she's more than likely going to clean house to get to school to be what the fuck it needs to be, in my personal opinion. I liked her. I feel like she could have been more present. But other than that, it was just like they had no real reason not to like her. And they would purposely give her horrible ratings to try to get her fired. They would talk shit about her all the time, sometimes in her face. The kids didn't like her either. Like she would come in the room and the kids would be like, what the fuck are you doing here? And she'd be like, first of all, I wasn't rude to you, so I need you to take it down a notch. Like she was handling it very, very well. Nobody liked the principal. I've never seen such subordination in my life. And if you guys are on my Patreon, y'all know about the catastrophe after schools that I talked about last year. I didn't end up quitting. I just let the contract run out. And they really hated my boss. And I liked her. I still talk to her to this day. That's my bitch. All niggas hated her. It's interesting because there's something about black women in power that a lot of people don't like. But at the same time, I've had the best bosses that were black women and the worst bosses that were black women. So I get it. I guess I get it. But it's like she was the nicest lady. There was nothing wrong with her. There was no reason for people not to like her besides the fact that they were going against the ghetto shit that they were used to. Okay. All that to say, literally, I realized like very slowly that the staff were going to be more concerning than the kids because the staff was just as bad as the kids. Okay. Like, if all of that wasn't enough, this is what really took the cake and what really made me be like, yeah, I'm not about to be fucking with these coaches, with the exception of obviously Coach Keisha, Coach Kiana, and Coach Danielle. Like, I really kind of stayed away from the other ones because they was just doing too much. Like, literally, there was one time I actually finally got to sit in the office and I don't remember what I was doing. I think I had finally got my laptop and my walkie. This was sometime during week one. And then they had gave me a Zoom number, thank God, because I was never using my phone. I ended up later on using my phone to contact the kids personally. But when it came to the parents, I used the Zoom number. But I was in there, I was setting everything up. And there's another coach. We're going to call him Coach Daryl. Okay. Now, how do I explain Coach Daryl? I didn't hate Coach Daryl, but I didn't love Coach Daryl. I thought he was cool, but I felt like he was also very problematic and he shouldn't be working with kids. And he was very chauvinistic and low key sexist because a lot of the things that came out of his mouth was disrespecting the girl teams. Oh, the girls are too much. Oh, good luck with the girls. They always antagonizing my boys. And then you had another coach. We're gonna call him Coach. We're just gonna call him Coach K. He was another one. Both of them would just tag team. Oh my God, these girls annoying as fuck. Like I know the boys be this, da da da. Mind you, Coach K had the worst boy team. I had the worst girl team. So literally, you have the girl version of my fucking team. And a lot of my kids would be dating the boys on his team. His team had a really bad reputation, especially for smelling bad. And my team would always get upset every time they would walk in the classroom because they would be in the class right after them and be like, oh my God, it stink. Like one time you make the biggest scene, oh my God, it stink. Oh my God, coach, please go get some spray. They stink, and they do stink. So does the fucking coach. Coach K stink too. Okay. And he had their dirty, dusty sneakers. It was their sneakers that was in there making the office stink. Okay, mind you, I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you guys just keeps going. Like it comes all together, right? That's why I told you guys all this shit for context, because you got to understand this shit, right? And he would sit there making excuses. Well, they stink, but like, your girls is the one that's dating them. So I don't know why every single time and they come in a room, they mad and they saying that my kids stink because they stink and you stink and it stinks in here because you stink and the kids stink and their sneakers are in here and they stink. So yeah, they stink. Like you need to do something about that. Talk to them about their hygiene. Oh, well, there's nothing I can do. Da, da, da. Honestly, it was a lot. That was another story for another time. The way that these people interacted with their kids or kids in general, or just like in that school was just insane to me. Like the fact that I just got here and you think it makes sense to talk about the kids like that in my presence. Like, yeah, I just met them. I didn't like how every 2 seconds niggas would go around talking shit about how my kids were reacting to shit. And it's just like, but it stinks. Like, like, and y'all need to do something about it. And it's not even just that, it's just like other stuff. Oh, well, the girls are too much and they're that. Like it was very interesting and it came off like, I don't fuck with women. It was the way they talked about their wives, the way they talked about their girlfriends. Like, oh, well, yeah, bitch is this, bitch is that. I don't got time for that. I'm not trying to hear that, especially not in a school setting, right? Now, this is where I was like, yeah, not gonna be hanging out in here much. Besides the fact that I don't have my own desk. And it's funny because League 3 had an extra desk and they eventually told me I could just move in there if I don't get a desk. And I really contemplated doing that, but then I realized like the problem with that is when the kids have an issue, they don't like to mix the kids in general. So all the leagues stay to their leagues, and I can't be in League 3 with a League 2 student. So yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm not about to do that. Next thing you know, I get in trouble and someone asks me, oh, why did I do that? Because these people don't talk to each other. They'll tell you to do something and then not tell everybody else. And then now you get in trouble and they're looking at you like, oh, why would you do that? When somebody else told you it was okay to do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just stay here in my little corner at Coach Keisha's desk. And then I had people telling me, oh, well, Coach Keisha not supposed to have a desk anyway. She's not even a real coach. She's an assistant coach. Ridiculous. But one day, Coach Daryl came in. I believe this was week 1. I just don't remember like which day. It could have been day 2. It could have been day 3. But he came in, right? Pissed off, mad as hell. No, actually, I think I was already there and he walked in. He was like, yeah, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's why I called his mom. Da, 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 like, just going off. And I'm like, listening to the story. And apparently, he had to curse out a child. Like, I missed the whole thing. He was going off in the hallway with a child. I'm talking about screaming match. And I'm talking about like you would think that he was a kid himself. And this was a reoccurring thing, like I'm telling y'all, a reoccurring thing with these adults where they would literally like curse these kids out about I guess the kid came at him first, to be fair, but still, again, you're the adult in the situation. I believe the kid called him, I don't remember what it was, but Coach Daryl proceeded to go back and forth with the kid, literally saying, and mind you, he repeated this to us in the office with no shame, okay? He said, yeah, that little nigga had the nerve to say, fuck me. I called him a bitch ass, fuck ass nigga. And then I called his mom and told him, I don't give a fuck. Your son's a bum ass bitch. And you know what his mom said? His mom said, thank you for not fucking my son up because, he said, fuck you. And I said, the mom thanked you for calling her son a bitch ass fuck ass nigga. What the fuck did I just walk into? I said, yeah, this is why you guys think you could do any and everything to these kids without repercussions because their parents genuinely don't give a fuck and they're done. They're done, they're tired, and they literally just give y'all free reins with these kids. Because, excuse me, the mother thanked you for calling her son a bitch ass, fuck ass nigga. But I mean, at that point, I kind of started realizing, like, yeah, these kids really are at like the end of whatever. Like, their parents are sick of them, everybody's sick of them. This is their last chance. But at the same time, it's like, what type of parent is really gonna be happy that you called their son a bitch ass fuck ass like I'm just so perplexed. I was like, alrighty. And he was like, yeah, like I don't give a fuck. That was the first and last time I seen Daryl go off about any of his kids. Okay. Coach Daryl never talked about his kids like that because he had actually the best team, one of the best teams in the building. They never really gave issues like that. He probably had one or two that were really bad, but other than that, his team was in check. They did their work. They almost never had any codes. So Coach Daryl kind of like felt like he was above something. It was very weird. Like he kind of acted like he ran shit. Literally, like him and Coach like K had this thing where they would like school you. Like you would ask a question, right? And everybody has somebody like this at their job. I swear to you, I think all of us have someone like that. Where it's like you ask them a question and it's like they're reading you the fucking school handbook. And the thing is, oh my God, we need to get into Coach K. Okay, Coach K got on my fucking nerves. Like I couldn't ask a question. I couldn't go in there for 2 seconds without him like just telling me a story and oh well, like once you have your first cold, like you a vet, you a vet, like your predecessor this, your predecessor that. Oh, like I'm like the king of admin. Oh, like back in the day, like I had this team, but then my team merged, and they went on to League 3, and they kept me in League 2 because like I'm so good and like fixing these teams or whatever. When I'm telling you the level of fucking delusion that these people have, because fast forward, spoiler alert, okay, spoiler alert. Now, Coach Daryl, all right, like I said, never had any issues, and he was also the league leader, okay? So he was like the one basically heading our meetings for the league and stuff like that, and basically doing everything that needed to be done in regards to like events. Sometimes when we would have training, he'd be doing a little segment. So like he really thought he was hot shit until recently I just found out that he got demoted from league leader. And then Coach K, they talk about they might not renew his contract, baby. So it's so funny because it's like you was doing all that hot shit, all that talking or whatever, and y'all wasn't even about nothing for real. The school didn't really give a fuck about you because I really think that the principal took what I said to heart, right? Towards the end, okay, again, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I told her, if you really want to do what you really want to do in this place, you need to clean house. These people are unprofessional. They're used to their chaos. They're used to their dysfunction. You're not going to be able to get anything done. And I guess she might have took what I said to heart. And I told her all the tea. I said, yeah, they hate you. They don't like you. They did rate you, because she already knew all of this, but I confirmed it. I said, yeah, they don't like you. They did this. This is what they said. I don't give a fuck. I'm a snitch. And plus, I knew I was on my way out by that time I even told her all of that, which we're going to get into later on. But it was just like, it's so funny to know, like, yeah, they might not even come back because they out here demoting them and might not be renewing contracts. So now let's go back to dance disaster part 2. Literally the same shit that happened day 1 happened day 2. And it's so unfortunate because it's like, I literally had to fight with these kids to do the bare minimum, which was stretching. Okay, and get to the lesson plan. I couldn't do across the floor. I couldn't do anything. And that's when I find out, literally, like during week 2, I end up finding out, oh, well, yeah, they actually have a performance. They have a Christmas performance that they're supposed to be working on. Bitch, I can't even get these kids to stretch. What performance you think they finna give? Y'all got me fucked up. At that point, I was just like, I started having real anxiety because I'm like, never put out a performance that I wasn't proud of. And I'm used to kids that can't dance at all. That's the thing that annoys me with these kids, right? They can dance. They know how to dance. They just don't want to know the structure of dance. They don't want to follow the principles of dance. They don't want to do what they're supposed to do in order to dance well and execute things properly and safely. They just want to do TikToks. They just want to twerk. They just want to do this. They want to do that. So I'm just sitting there like, you know what? Instead of trying to teach you guys something new, I'm going to meet you where y'all at, right? Let's see what y'all had. They showed me their performances. Mind you, the day of the demo, they also showed me their performances. So I already kind of like had an idea of what they had. And a lot of it was inappropriate. They were twerking. They were doing shit that they should not have been doing for 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. It was really like inappropriate for real, for real. And at this point, I'm like, all right, show me the most appropriate ones y'all have. And it was still inappropriate. Like, so I'm like, all right, we're going to mix these things together. We're going to add like maybe 2 new things. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Oh my God, why we got to do this? Oh my God, why we got to do that? Okay, so what ideas do you have? Like, would you have any song ideas? No. Shut the fuck. I hate to say it like that, but it's like, if you don't have any real idea or anything to contribute to the conversation, stop complaining. And this was a running theme. And this is what happened, especially with Coach Keisha and, the social worker, Janice or Jessie. They were annoyed like every single time because like they were getting frustrated with them for literally basically being assholes to me because they were like, yo, like, this is why y'all coaches keep quitting. Like, she's trying to help y'all. She's actually a dancer. She's a real professional. And y'all out here not giving her the chance to do anything. Y'all not let her talk. Yeah, like, because it was really bad. Like, once on you, like, they had to cuss them out again for a second time. And I had to sit down again in silence until they decided to cooperate. Because what are we like? I'm not about to lose my voice for y'all. Y'all claim y'all want to dance. Y'all claim y'all want to do this. They told me y'all like to dance. They told me y'all want to do that. But then I'm here and y'all not really trying to do anything for real. Like what? Like it starts. It gets to a point, right? Like it gets to a point where it's just like the fuck. So eventually, you know, we start planning for the performance. And let me just tell you right now, piss poor, horrible. Like it was horrible. Like we're gonna go through that shit in the next part, okay? And then we're gonna talk about, you know, the principal and stuff like that because y'all, it was just a mess, okay? Like we gonna start introducing admin staff because it's just like you cannot make this shit up. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Week one, well, actually month one, I low-key feel like I was being hazed. Okay, from the kids not saying hi to me not having a desk, to staff members just being rude as fuck. Like, I low-key feel like I was being hazed. Like, shout outs to literally Coach Keisha, Coach Fernanda, Coach Danielle, you know, the social worker, all that. Like, I shout outs to them for being like actually genuinely nice to me because everybody else not really. Like, I feel like people were nice when they were introduced to me, but after that, niggas wasn't talking to me. Like, it was like I really felt like I was kind of just like left to my own devices and left in the dust. And yeah, that led to the breakdown of all of this. But in the next part, again, we're gonna start, you know, talking about the principal, the staff, and the first performance, and how that went really, really bad. As well as how bad the bullying was on the team of the Hellcats. Like I'm talking about like severe bullying. Like so stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you guys would like to come to any of my dance classes, I'm actually hosting dance classes every Tuesday, 8 o'clock this month. They are hip hop based. They will be in Belleville, New Jersey. I would love to see you there. Scan the lovely QR code for everything. It's almost Haitian Heritage Month. Get your merch, okay, from my Haitian channel. If you're not aware, we do have multiple channels. We have memberships enabled on my main channel as well as my Haitian channel. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want me to enable it here because I feel like all my personal stuff actually goes on my Patreon. So just subscribe to the Patreon. We have a $1 7-day free trial for my Patreon. So if it's something you just want to look and see, I have so many series on my Patreon, life updates, all that, story time series on there. So if you're really into the story times for real, like go on my Patreon. That's where everything is. And of course, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, you know, feel me? Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I love you guys so very much. I cannot wait to see you in my classes. Shout out to those of you guys that showed up to the Brooklyn event that I hosted and showed up to my classes. I appreciate it more than anything. Like you guys are the reason like I decide to get up and film for real. So yeah, stay tuned. And I'm see y'all next time. Bye.